In the abstract, the ability to hack human beings means the ability to understand humans better than they understand themselves, which means being able to predict their choices better than they can predict their choices, being able to manipulate their emotions, being able to make decisions for them. Now, it should be very clear, we are not talking about knowing humans perfectly. Absolutely impossible, never going to happen. We're just talking about the ability to know you better than you know yourself, which is not so difficult because most people know very little about themselves. It's not completely new. Nothing is ever completely new in history. There are always precedents. So people talk about genetic engineering. Well, we have been breeding cows and chickens for thousands of years, so what's new? There is something new. The borderline is the skin. Previously, almost all the information gathered on you was outside your skin. Where you go, what you buy, what you watch, what you press on your TV, what you press on your keyboard. This is the information that flowed. But the future is about going under your skin and looking directly at what is happening in your heart, in your brain, what is your blood pressure, which parts of your brain are activated now. And this can be done either with invasive technologies like electrodes implanted inside your body, but more and more with external devices, from ring or a bracelet on your arm, which measures biometric points of information, or there are now devices that just by looking at your face from a camera, they can tell what's happening to your blood pressure, to your heart rate, things like that. And this is extremely good clues for understanding your emotional state. So it can go in the direction of, full-blown totalitarian regimes, like North Korea forcing every citizen in, say, 10 years or 20 years to wear a biometric bracelet, which constantly monitors not where you go and what you say. It monitors what's happening in your heart and in your brain. If you walk into a room and there is a picture of Kim Jong-un on the wall, and the bracelet picks up the signs of anger because it has access to your brain, that's very bad news for you. Even George Orwell's 1984, they couldn't really get into your brain. There was still this fear of private world, and this is about to disappear. In the West, the main concern now is what is known as surveillance capitalism. That, okay, it's not a kind of dictator that spies on your brain, but you have all these corporations and maybe all these government agencies which are monitoring what's happening inside your body. What does it mean to live in a world when your inner reality is so completely exposed? There is enormous good potential. We could provide the best healthcare in the world and the cheapest healthcare in the world for billions of people with this kind of technology. And this is why it's so tempting. If there was no good side, then it was very easy. Let's just not do it. But there are enormous beneficial and there are also great dangers. I mean, it's easy to think in terms of, you have all these evil corporations or governments which will abuse this power in order to manipulate and control people in horrible ways. Intellectually, it's easy to grasp that's wrong. We should prevent it. But the really difficult stuff is what happens if it's not abused. What happens if there is a system that monitors me, monitors my heart, my brain all the time, and is relatively benign. It is used to provide me not only with better healthcare, but with constant guidance in life in almost every decision I make. We tend for thousands of years to view life as a drama of decision making. Life is a journey. We reach intersection after intersection. We need to make decisions, financial decisions, romantic decisions, political decisions. What happens if in more and more intersections you just rely on the advice of this algorithm that knows you so well and is really a benign algorithm? So in the financial realm, I need to make decisions about where to invest my money, let's say. But this algorithm knows me so well that when I am about to make a wrong decision, like I read something on the news, I'm frightened, let's sell all my portfolio. And the algorithm knows, this is a bad decision. Your mind is now being irrational. You shouldn't do it. And we learned from experience that this second brain that follows me is usually better than my organic brain. So I give the bank an order. If what I tell you conflicts with what this second brain, the algorithm, tells you, don't do what I tell you, do what the algorithm is telling you. If you do what I tell you, I'll sue you. So you're on the phone with your banker and you're screaming, sell my portfolio. And the banker says, no. You told us not to believe you if the algorithm says no, and we believe the algorithm. And maybe after 2 hours you calm down and you say, that's so good that the banker didn't listen to me. Now, what happens when the same thing also repeats itself in the romantic field? That you want to marry somebody and the algorithm says, no, that's a bad idea, you should marry somebody else. And we learn by experience to trust the algorithm. We have no religious, artistic, or philosophical model for understanding such a life. One of the big problems is, how do you define the goal? The financial algorithm, that's easy. I want more money. So if you define the goal in such simple terms, the algorithm knows what to do. When you reach something like the romantic field, or like what to study in university, then who defines the goal? Now, part of the problem is that who defines the goal today? I mean, how do I define today my romantic goals or my career goals? I mean, it's not that humans are doing it perfectly now and the algorithms will do a much worse job. Humans are doing a terrible job now. It goes back to the most ancient philosophical and spiritual questions of getting to know yourself, of what is good, what is the good life. And I cite a lot in these days that ancient philosophical questions are now becoming practical questions of engineering. What is the good life? Or what is a good relationship? Most people aren't involved in this discussion. And self-reflection and self-exploration is just much more difficult and painful than people often imagine. They think, okay, we'll have more time and technology will help us and we'll explore ourselves and this will be wonderful. They imagine themselves like, again, in ancient Athens, walking with Socrates and having these interesting discussions, or sitting for meditation and having all these experiences of bliss and oneness with the universe, and wonderful. And part of the problem and part of the reason that until today most people did not embark on a serious journey of self-exploration during their life is that it's far, far more complicated and painful from that. You start exploring yourself, you discover many things you don't like about yourself. You don't have these experiences of bliss and oneness with the universe. Well, maybe sometimes you do. But most of the time, you have these experiences of pain and anger and loneliness and all kinds of things that you don't want to confront. They are there inside. I think we reach a point in human history when technology is forcing us to do this inner spiritual quest, or we are going to pay a much higher price for not knowing ourselves than ever before. And this is not going to be easy.